extra crispy. Oh no, it's afternoon. Good afternoon. Today we're starting our ride from the medieval town of Cacete, which means House of Oil. It's a very old town. It's very easy to get lost down these medieval streets. I've got no clue where I am. But at least I'm heading downhill now. It was very, very steep. Everywhere is steep here. Oh, that looks narrow. I need to go somewhere. These are very, very old, absolutely beautiful houses. This is where I wanted to come to. Now you have seen this before. I've shown you this before. Let me get in here. Christmas decorations, you can't really avoid the tree. You see the snow on all the balconies? It's a town of, I think it's 1,200 inhabitants, but that is pretty special. These are Solomonic columns, because the originals appear in St. Peter's Basilica in Rome, and the originals were nicked by Constantine the Great, and he nicked them from Jerusalem and he presented them to the Basilica in Rome to be used there, and ever since these spiral columns have been called Solomonic, because apparently they came from King Solomon's tomb. They didn't, but it's a good story. You see the studs on this door? Absolutely amazing. Get over the top. But you know, it's Catholics. There we go. New brake pads, if you're wondering. What I haven't explained it today is extreme gravel. We've got around 50 kilometres today, so it's quite a short one for us, but it's gravel, I think, the whole way. Of course not yet, but very soon. They're a few hundred metres, and we're just heading out really into the middle of the Aragonese wilderness. So the reason why we come this way is because I was here last week picking up my new toy, which is a rowing machine. And the people we were picking it up from took us out this way, and I thought, oh, this looks like a nice road. I thought, and so I had a look on Google Maps, and I saw that it goes on forever. It's one of the rare through roads in this vast wilderness, and eventually it'll take us to, sadly, another town that you have been to, which is Maella. You ought to remember the tale about that town, but I'll tell you again when we get there. Now there's a little pond here for no particular reason. It's nowhere near the town itself, and I did notice there's a couple of these strange little religious buildings I've no idea what function it serves, if any. They call them capellas. I suspect they are places so that you can worship when you are travelling. You know, stop and have a quick pray. Anyway, we're on gravel. We're also on the Gain. I hope you appreciate. I've got my gravel tyres on. And like I said on Strava last week, I had my first go on the Gain for such a long time. And I said it felt like coming home. Anyway, get used to this sort of scenery. Our next station stop is in 22 kilometres. Now we're only a couple of kilometres on from the last one of these, but this one hasn't got doors. So yeah, there's a little altar. There's a little altar in there. Those are really quite groovy machines. So the front part of the tractor is like a huge upside down umbrella which spreads around a tree, and then these jaws grab the tree and shake it for all it's worth, and they're used to pick oranges, but around here almonds and olives. Were thinking of a gravel adventure, I'd certainly put Aragon on your shortlist, because there's so many different Aragons. In the north it's almost desert, very, very huge open spaces. In the middle bit here it's very rolling, and both very, very remote. And then in the south it's huge mountains, absolutely vast, where the beginning to be famous Espacios Vacios, the empty spaces. They're promoting that as a bikepacking destination now. There are ski resorts there. It's actually got 4 of the 5 highest towns in Spain, all quite close, clustered together. Yes, there it is. You can't see. Is that better? So we're dropping down quite a few hundred metres now. And sadly that means we've got to go back up them again later. This is absolutely gorgeous. A bit awkward to stop. Stop anyway. Is immaculate, absolutely immaculate. And there below us is the equally ancient city of Maelia. There's 1,700 people there now, but as with most of these places, rural depopulation is taking its toll. So probably since the 20s it's about a third of the size, a third of the population anyway. This is the place that's called Her Hand. Told you the story before, so I'll try and make this one quick, this version quick. There was a fair maid who was spotted by the lord of the manor who fancied her, and in order to coerce her into sleeping with him, he kidnapped her boyfriend and tortured him, and his cries could be heard over the whole town, and it was to try and convince her, and unfortunately she went a bit round the twist, and when he said, "I'll have your hand in marriage or your boyfriend dies," she cut off her own hand and sent it to him, saying, "There it is, it's my hand." So we have been to Maelia before, but I've not shown you the castle before. So there's the castle. The town itself dates back to the Moors and earlier, but it's most famous or most infamous for the Battle of Maelia, which was in 1838, and it was during the Carlist Wars of Succession, where one side wanted the Queen Isabel to be their monarch, and the other side wanted the infant Charles to be theirs. So Charles is cardless. Not quite so fancy as the one in Cacete. Even so, very nice. And what happened at the Battle of Maelia is that Isabel's forces of 5,000 met an inferior force of 3,500 and got absolutely trounced, badly trounced, so that the 3,500 army of the Carlist supporters lost 264 men, and the 5,000 strong army of Isabella lost 3,500 men. Now that is a rout. I don't know where we are, by the way. I just thought we'd sort of cycle around a bit. Ancient streets. Fortunately, if you see one of these, you know you're leaving at least the old town. These portals, actually within the walls of the town. There's no entry. So let's try this way. So I haven't shown you the best of the town, to be fair, but at least you've seen the castle and the church and some back streets. Big to overtake as well, isn't he? He's going very slow. Why? Hola. Hola. There's a little ford there, and I wanted to have a look because it looked nice. Let's go and have a little look. It does actually say it's a Camino Natural. So they've selected it as an attractive way. That's just a puddle. This bit's the actual river. Oh, we've got the tractor. I forgot about the tractor. He might be cheesed off. I'll get ahead of him. Oh, he's going to get there first. Trapped. Lo siento mucho. nice of him. Yeah, I find the lack of flow in these ancient rivers to be highly depressing. They flowed for millennia and now they're dry. This is getting into the third year now where some of these rivers haven't flowed. So obviously all of the fish and the invertebrates and little mammals that used to rely on the river must now be dead. There's puddles left, and that's probably just from the rain that we had 2 days ago. So the next stop on our magical mystery tour is the ancient town of Mathaleon. Mathaleon is a little bit older than these others. The town itself probably not, but the settlements outside the town are much older. And what's vaguely interesting about that is that they're from 4 separate epochs. But we'll talk a bit more about that when we get there. Although this is very nice, and I'm quite enjoying this rather beautiful landscape, some cracking stone walls if you're into such things, big old rocks. What I'm really looking for are 2 necropolises and 2 burial mounds. We've got 2 necropolis from the Visigoths to see, and we've got 2 burial mounds from the pre-Iberians. I don't know if they had a name. Seems a bit unfair if they didn't. Well, that's very pretty. A big rock in the middle of the river. Great big rip. That's nice, isn't it? Unfortunately, I'm not finding said necropoli and tumuli. They're supposed to be here. I can't find them. It's a sign, let's hope it says tumuli or indeed necropoli on it. It doesn't. It says Cacete. We've missed them. We've got about 45 minutes of light. They were quite exciting because one of them was a stone altar with a carved out bowl in the centre of the altar, which they suspect was for blood sacrifices, which would have been pretty cool to see. It's one of the oldest in the world apparently, and I've ridden straight past it. We're going to carry on because I'm more worried about the light than seeing a big lump of rock with a hole in it, however gory it's past. I want to be looking at my heart rate. The cardiologist has bumped up what I'm allowed to do to 135. I'm at 140. I better take it easy. Difficult when it's incredibly steep like this. Actually in first as well, really out of shape. That's going to be interesting. There's ice on the that little puddle just there, so we're still at or around freezing now. Certainly feels like it. My 2 thin layers up top aren't really doing the job. I feel I'm getting to the top. The sun's made a very, very welcome reappearance. It was so better down there. Really does feel that you could cycle for miles and miles, not see a soul. Well, we're there. It's quite a climb up and I can't see a thing. But this whole of this cliff top, let's go up. The whole of this cliff top was an Iberian village circa 8th century BC. That's pretty darn old, but it does become a little clearer. Oh, hello. When we get to the top, oh, that is spectacular. Made it just in time. It's quite a short, it's about 2 kilometres back down to the town. There we go, it's a building. Oh, you can see better in this direction. We've got to do that over there yet as well. That's one of those capellas, but you'll notice that the capella we saw earlier was about 8 foot square, and that one looks like a cathedral. I haven't been able to find out how many people would have lived here. I'd say it was quite a few, considering it was centuries before the Romans ever invaded. And as I mentioned earlier, the Iberians, they were quite fond of their mountains and they actually worshipped them. So it's quite a way down. It's very, very narrow, little ridge. There's buildings everywhere, the foundation stones. It'd be lovely if they allowed just one of these towns to be restored to the way it looked originally. I don't know if you can see these, I hope so. What a view, what a place, come to think of it. Look at all these buildings. They're 2,800 years old and change. There's more of it. Look at this. It's huge. More and more and more and more and more houses. Little side alley down there. Oh, hello, he went. It's San Antoni, I think, which is a bit daft because how can you name a pre-Christian town after a saint who wasn't even going to be born probably for another 1,000 years? Anyway, that's what they've done. San Antoni. Really, really is quite incredible that 2,800 years ago there'd be people walking along here, chatting, doing deals, eating, drinking. These definitely are the best and biggest and tallest Iberian stonework that I've seen. I am going to get a bit of a wriggle on because we've got a little bit more to do just to get back to the car. And I'm in the middle of all this, in flower, a beautiful snapdragon. Hello, hello, I'm a snapdragon. Definitely cut that. Ooh. That's pretty lovely. Apparently this is a spectacular place to see a sunset. What a lovely building. I think it's only 1800s. Fantastic. There is a lot out that way. Or rather there's a lot of not a lot out that way. But we're heading that way. We've got many more rides to do, and not least into that area out there, because there's just nothing there. How can there be so little out there? No one lives there, no one works there, there's just nothing there. So we need to go and have a look, find out. if it's true, if there is nothing. All the Italian cypress everywhere. Loads of them here. No people at all. I've got no problem leaving my bike unlocked, untended, because I would have seen them on the way up. And it was quite a climb. I pushed. It was absolutely nightmarish. Anyway, that is the end of today's adventures. I hope you enjoyed it. We do have many more adventures to do, you and I. There might be a couple of reviews that I have to get in. It's what keeps the channel ticking over. I never really realised when people said that until I'm actually doing it myself, but it does help. If you do a review, you get, well, my Gain reviews had 25,000 views. These normal ones like this one, I might get 300. So they do help drive the channel, and with those bigger views it means that I can write begging letters to people saying, can I have a ride on your bike? And they say, yeah, alright. So thank you for watching. Obviously more to come this year, including on next week's mystery bike. As long as they deliver it, it should arrive in the next couple of days. I'm quite excited about it. It's no, I can't tell you. It's too exciting to tell you. I could tease you. I could tease you a little. It's a mid-motor road bike. It's got oodles of power, and it's going to be mine for 6 weeks. But until then, thanks for watching.